Welcome to another Proficiency ESL-lounge reading lesson video. Today we will be reading The Cartographer's Daughter. Let's begin with some vocabulary. Prohibition, the action of forbidding something by law or rule. Eccentricity, unconventional or strange behavior. To decipher, to convert code into normal language. To interpret. Principality, a state ruled by a prince. A small sovereign state. Systematic erasure, deliberate and methodical removal or elimination. To constitute, to form or make up, to be equivalent to. To cohere, to form a united whole, to fit together logically. Nostalgia, a sentimental longing for the past. Sentiment. A feeling or opinion, especially one based on emotion. Intersection, a point where two or more things meet or cross. Great, now you know the key words, let's read the story. Elena found the maps beneath loose floorboards in her father's study, 3 days after Victor Moravec's funeral. The small room had been forbidden throughout her childhood, a prohibition she'd attributed to her father's general eccentricity, like weighing coffee beans precisely or arranging books by spine color. Now, kneeling in dust-filtered afternoon light, she understood the true reason, protection of a secret that would fundamentally alter her understanding of the quiet university librarian who'd raised her alone. The maps were extraordinary, hand-drawn with medieval manuscript precision, yet depicting countries absent from any atlas. Mountains spiraled impossibly skyward, rivers defied gravity flowing through inverted valleys, and cities bore names in unfamiliar alphabets that somehow felt recognizable. Each map carried her father's careful signature: V. Moravec, Cartographer Royal, Valdornia, 1962 to 1975. End of page 1. Let's continue. Valdornia. The word echoed through her memory like cathedral bells. She'd heard it whispered during her father's final illness, muttered alongside other syllables she'd dismissed as delirium. These maps suggested otherwise, a place vivid enough to chart meticulously, real enough to document with the obsessive precision of someone who'd spent decades cataloging library books with unwavering accuracy. Beneath the maps lay a leather journal filled with her father's handwriting in identical script. As Elena traced the flowing characters, meaning seemed to surface from somewhere deep within her consciousness. The language felt ancestral, dormant in her blood, until this moment of recognition. Gradually, she began deciphering what appeared not as fantasy, but autobiography. End of page 2. Let's continue. The journal described a homeland existing between wars, a small European principality that had vanished through systematic erasure rather than conquest. Valdornia had been absorbed by larger powers following the Second World War, its borders redrawn, language banned, people scattered and renamed. Those who remembered were encouraged to forget. Those who spoke of it faced dismissal as delusional troublemakers. Her father belonged to the final generation, remembering Valdornia as living reality rather than historical footnote. His maps represented cartographic rebellion against deliberate forgetting. Each carefully rendered mountain and precisely labeled settlement constituted resistance against erasure, refusing to let his homeland disappear into disputed history's gray zones. End of page 3. Let's continue. Reading deeper, Elena understood her father's silence about this past. Carrying an entire nation's memory alone had shaped his cautious, contained existence. Every map simultaneously celebrated and mourned, preserving something that could survive only through the intersection of imagination and recollection. The study had been his sanctuary where Valdornia maintained impossible, vivid existence. This revelation transformed her understanding of their shared life. His preparation of traditional foods whose origins remained unexplained, melodies hummed without apparent source, photographs of places that seemed familiar yet unlocatable. Everything suddenly cohered into the portrait of someone inhabiting two worlds simultaneously, one visible, one accessible solely through memory and devotion. End of page 4. Let's continue. Yet the maps raised profound questions. How much represented literal truth versus nostalgia's transformative power, which renders the past more vivid than original reality? Did Valdornia's precise historical existence matter, or did these maps document emotional rather than geographical truth? Standing in the evening lit study, Eleanor recognized her inheritance extended beyond maps and memories. She'd inherited choice itself. She could research, verify, separate fact from sentiment, or accept the maps as perfect documents of a country existing between history and love, between loss and the refusal to be forgotten. The cartographer's daughter had become guardian of impossible geography, keeper of places surviving only through ink and longing's careful intersection. Okay, time for a few questions to check your understanding. Question 1. Elena's childhood exclusion from her father's study was A. Based on the dangerous cartographic materials and chemicals stored there. B. A means of safeguarding a profoundly important personal secret. C. Simply another manifestation of his generally reclusive personality. D. A temporary measure until she matured sufficiently to understand the contents. Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is B. The text states she understood the true reason was the, quote, protection of a secret that would fundamentally alter her understanding of him. Question 2. The significance of Eleanor's gradual comprehension of the unknown script lies in A. The script being a sophisticated code based on familiar European languages. B. Her exceptional intelligence allowing her to decode any unfamiliar writing system. C. What appears to be inherited cultural memory awakening within her. D. Her father having secretly taught her the language during childhood. Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is C. The passage states that the language felt ancestral and dormant in her blood. Question 3. According to the text, Valdornia's disappearance resulted from A. Natural disasters rendering the territory permanently uninhabitable. B. Military conquest by neighboring powers during the Second World War. C. Voluntary political integration into larger, more stable nations. D. A process of political and cultural absorption by other states. Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is D. The text explains that Valdornia had been absorbed by larger powers, with its borders redrawn and language banned. Question 4. Victor's maps can best be understood as A. Valuable historical documents proving Valdornia's geographical existence. B. Professional cartographic work intended for eventual academic publication. C. A personal, defiant act of cultural and historical preservation. D. Artistic fantasies created to cope with immigration and cultural displacement. Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is C. The text describes his maps as a, quote, cartographic rebellion against deliberate forgetting and resistance against erasure. Question 5. The phrase describing nostalgia's transformative power refers to A. The potential for memory to idealize and intensify historical events. B. Elena's emotional response to discovering her father's hidden past. C. The artistic techniques Victor used to create the map's distinctive appearance. D. The way cultural memories can be passed down through artistic expression. Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is A. The text explicitly questions the balance between literal truth versus nostalgia's transformative power, which renders the past more vivid than original reality. Question 6. The maps of Valdornia ultimately represent A. A pedagogical tool designed to pass on a forgotten heritage. B. A political tool to argue for the restoration of a lost nation. C. The fusion of geographical fact with personal sentiment. D. a political statement intended to reclaim lost territory. Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is C. The text describes the maps as existing at the intersection of imagination and recollection, and questions whether they document emotional rather than geographical truth. Let's quickly summarize the lesson. On this screen, you can review the main points of the text and the key vocabulary. Finally, here are a few discussion questions. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching this ESL Lounge video. Don't forget to subscribe for more lessons, and we'll see you in the next one.